I'm back. Took a short break. Took a little vacation down to Leavenworth, Washington. Got proposed to. That was awesome. Yeah, I'm ready to start the new year off right. Started ready to hit the fucking ground running. What did I miss in the few days I was gone? James, don't you fuck this up. Don't you fuck this up. You ever see an actor and just go, you were made for this one role. That's all you're here to do is play this one character. I love Jason Momoa. Don't get me wrong, I love Jason Momoa. Yo, I've been boots on the fucking ground since day one! This has been my wallpaper on my phone for 6 years! Before I was a Deadpool fan, before I was a Red Hood fan, before I was a Spider-Man fan, I was a Lobo fan. I have been here since day one! I will be first in line! I will push you out of the way to get there! I'm excited. I'm excited. I can't wait. Give it to me now. I'm gonna say a statement that's gonna sound kinda weird. And I'm gonna need you to hold with me for the explanation, okay? I respect Dracula from Castlevania as a father more than I respect Batman as a father. Specifically because of the difference between this scene and this scene. And I know that sounds weird, so I'm gonna need you to hold with me. So first of all, why am I comparing the two scenes? Well, functionally, they're kind of the same. After a drawn-out battle between a father and a son over them trying to essentially stop the other because of their moral disagreements, they end up in a destroyed room where they are forced into a situation where the father has to choose between letting the son do something terrible or betraying their own morals. For Dracula, that choice is betray what he's been doing this entire year and stop his crusade against humanity and ultimately let himself die. He knows he's not leaving that room. Or kill his son. And in Batman's case, the choice is between stopping Jason Todd, the son he just got back, the son who has done terrible things and he is trying to save from this terrible life that he is sending himself down, or kill the Joker. Morally, Dracula wants to kill the entirety of humanity because they killed his wife. And Batman, morally, doesn't want the Joker to die because he ultimately believes in the sanctity of life. And also, if you start killing, you just never really stop, which is a flawed belief anyway. But we're continuing off from that. Now, why do I say that I respect Dracula as a father in that moment more than I respect Batman? Well, it comes down to the choice that they end up making. In the moment that Dracula realizes that this is his boy, this is everything that his wife stood for, this is absolutely everything encapsulated of the goodness of his wife into one single person, nothing else matters. Even though he knows his son is there to kill him, even though he knows if he stops fighting, his son will kill him for the crimes that Dracula has committed, that doesn't matter, because he would do anything other than hurt his boy the second he realizes that is all he is doing. Is that after a huge long fight where he beat the living fuck out of him and also is that giant scar on Alucard's chest because of Dracula? Yeah, but we're not gonna talk about that. In that moment, Dracula goes against everything in his soul, every single thing that he thinks is right in that moment because he would rather die than hurt his son. When Batman is put into an incredibly similar situation where his choices are either stop Jason Todd, by the way, lethally, because that's the only option Jason is giving him, or betraying absolutely everything in his morals and letting Jason kill the Joker, well, he picks differently. And listen, you can tell me that this is a shoulder shot as much as you fucking want. that is not someone clutching a shoulder wound. Batman makes the decision to take down his son in a way that, by all means, would most likely be lethal to literally anybody else. No matter if you believe that that is a shoulder wound or a neck wound, that's a lot of fucking blood, man. And morally, in that moment, his choice was to hurt his son and maintain his morals rather than fulfilling what his son said he was going to do. Now, granted, I will also say this situation is very different on Batman's behalf. Jason is doing something that is technically morally wrong. Cold-blooded murder is a lot different than, stopping a psychotic vampiric overlord. But at the end of the day, it comes down to this. Dracula sacrificed his own morals and his own beliefs because he realized that the only other option would be to hurt his son. And Batman hurt his son to maintain his own morals and beliefs. Now, granted, this also works off of my own personal moral compass. This also works off of who I think is morally right in this situation and all of that. This is all very subjective. This is not an objective point of view, but this is definitely coming from my perspective watching the two. There is a very clear connection between the two scenes, and it's very clear that they make two very different decisions that result in two very different outcomes. And I just think that is a very fascinating thing from a writing perspective on how close they can be. Regardless of anything, I'm super excited to read the comments because I want to hear your guys' thoughts, and I know that this is kind of a somewhat intentionally inflammatory thing to say, so I can't wait to read it. There are two endings to Under the Red Hood, and one of them works, and one of them really fucking doesn't. Let's talk about it. Now, if you, like me, and 98% of fucking people, were introduced to Jason Todd via the spectacular Batman Under the Red Hood movie, then you know how the ending of that movie goes. Batman and Jason fight their way into an abandoned building. Turns out that this was Jason's plan. He's rigged this building with a bunch of explosives, and inside there is the Joker. And Jason gives Batman a choice. Either you kill the Joker with this gun I am giving you, or I'm gonna do it. And the only way the Joker doesn't die tonight is if you shoot me in the face. Someone or everyone in this room is dying, and you do not get to choose to not make a choice. Make your fucking pick. Here's the thing. This is where there is a split, because this does also happen in the comic. But there's a difference in how it goes from that point on. In both versions, Batman does give his very iconic, "If I go down that road, I can't come back" speech. That happens both times. So does Jason's response of, "I'm not talking about killing Scarecrow or Two-Face or Dent. I'm talking about killing him, just him." You tell I've watched this movie a few times. In fact, it stays the same all the way up until one exact moment. Jason tosses Batman a gun and says, "You have to shoot me in the face. That's the only way I'm not gonna kill the Joker, because if you won't do it, I will." Batman says, "I won't do it. You know I won't do it." And Jason doesn't care. He keeps telling him, "That's how it's gonna happen. You're gonna have to shoot me." Now, in the movie, Batman drops the gun on the floor and wordlessly turns to leave. Jason, in disbelief, starts telling him that he's gonna do it. It's him or me. You have to choose. And Batman chooses not to respond and continues to walk away. Jason ultimately grows so frustrated at this, he turns the gun on Batman and fires, to which Batman throws a batarang back, disarming him. Blows up the gun in his hand, but he does disarm him. And at that moment, Jason stands back up and activates the explosives that are going to blow up the building. Batman goes to disarm him, Joker stops him, and the rest is history. Now pay attention to that. Batman chose to walk away. He might have known what Jason was going to do, but ultimately, he was about to fucking walk off. He might have been able to disarm Jason and throw the batarang and hit it that way, but we don't know that. All we know is that Batman started to walk away and ended it there. Now, in the comic, Jason puts the gun to the Joker's head after giving Batman the gun. Batman still has said gun in his hands, and he says he's gonna give him to the count of 3. To which Batman starts telling him, "Put the gun down. Put the gun down. Don't do it. No!" He starts begging Jason not to do it, and then bounces a batarang off of a pipe behind Jason and, depending on who you ask, cuts his throat. Now, this might be the side of the neck, this might be the trapezius, this might be a callback to when Jason made his whole speech about why he loves shoulder wounds. Regardless, Batman does something a lot more gruesome here than he does in the movie. Oh, and it gets worse from there, because actually, Joker is the one to trigger the explosion in this version. Why, you might ask? Well, that would be because Jason never gets back up. Batman throws a knife, banks it off a wall, potentially cuts Jason in the neck in just this general area, and then he never speaks another word or moves for the rest of the book. He might be dead. He might be dead. Batman putting the gun down and walking away is a statement in and of itself. It is a choice to not make a choice. But at the same time, him throwing that batarang and injuring Jason in whatever way that we decide he is injured in that moment says something more. Because regardless of if that was a kill shot or not, we can debate that all day fucking long. He makes a statement that the Joker's safety is more important than Jason's in that moment, which shows Batman as a hypocrite. It shows Batman as someone who is valuing his villains more than he's valuing his literal only son at this point, and ultimately proving Jason right. Which is a cool thing. That's cool from a writing perspective, but it's obviously not intentional. In the movie, Batman walking away shows the fact that he won't break his own moral code, but his son is more important to him. And if this is what his son is going to do, then it's what he's gonna do. He is not in a place to stop him. And even if he did have a plan to stop him at that moment, the plan is disarming Jason, not injuring him. And to me, that's why it works better. It shows Batman's compassion. It shows his empathy. He understands why Jason wants to do it and doesn't literally beg him to do anything else. He gets where Jason is at. He's able to understand Jason's headspace and decides in that moment that it makes sense. That even if he can't do it, Jason might be able to. And if that's what Jason needs in this moment, then that's what Jason's gonna do. It doesn't turn Batman into a villain to take down Jason. It doesn't make Batman worse to get Jason out of the picture. It doesn't do that. Instead, it makes them both have a point. And if they act on those points, the consequences will come from there. It doesn't put them at odds to an extent where one has to grievously injure the other. And those consequences happen immediately because Jason gets overwhelmed and tries to shoot Batman. But I think that's why the scene works better. There's no ambiguity. Batman does not potentially kill his son to save the Joker. He decides not to choose and decides to walk away. And Jason is the only person who escalates that situation, showing him as what I'm assuming the writer wanted, which was rash. He makes a decision based on emotion that ends up blowing them all up, which works better from a perspective where he was the villain of this story, regardless of if he has a point or not. But that's my huge long spiel. Let me know your opinion. Which ending did you actually prefer? I know I prefer the movie, hands fucking down. It's just a better story overall, and I can't wait to see what y'all say. I don't know about y'all, but every fucking year I'm hit with the same goddamn thing. God, this holiday season was so stressful. I am so excited for January to roll around just so I can finally be done with all of the stress that comes with all of this holiday bullshit. Only for January to actually roll around and to be hit with the metric fuck ton of new year, new me ass shit. Time to start business, time to start working in the new year. Let's fucking go! Only to realize that it's just never ending. Shit just doesn't fucking stop happening. So with all that in mind, welcome back to Regrettable Superhero of the Week, the weekly not weekly show where I pick one character at random out of the league of regrettable superheroes and then I run them the fuck down. Let's see what we are getting today. Again, I would really just want someone just laid back, someone fun, someone I can just relax with. Captain Ultra? Captain Ultra. That sounds quite literally like the exact opposite of laid back. What in the technicolor fuck is that? My man is not wearing a color palette, he's wearing the whole fucking wheel! And I know there's a lot of outfit choices going on here, but one of the ones that I see the first is like that 3 fucking inch wide choker he's wearing. There's plenty of connection points for your cape, my man. You do not need to have all that going on. Watch me make all these jokes, and then it turns out that this design was based off of like a children's raffle or something, and I'm just the fucking villain here. Oh no. Oh no, this isn't looking good for me, guys. I am exactly 1 sentence in, and I'm already worried. Quitting smoking offers quite a few health benefits, but for former plumber Griffin Gogol seems to have stumbled upon the most amazing of all, the acquisition of superpowers. Have I been making fun of the anti-smoking superhero? Is this like Is this like a PSA superhero that I've just been making fun of? I take it all back, this dude's stupid as fuck. Captain Ultra was created by Roy Thomas, George Perez, and Joe Sinnott. Good God, that's a star-studded cast in Fantastic Four, Volume 1, number 177 of Marvel Comics in December of 1976. As previously stated, Captain Ultra's real name is Griffin Gogol. He used to be a plumber, now he's not. That would be because on his final job as a plumber, the guy wasn't able to pay. However, guy was a hypnotist, so he said, I'll give you a free hypnotherapy session instead of paying you for being a plumber, which kind of a dickheaded move. Gogol was like, what the hell? I want to kick this fucking cigarette habit because I'm a chain smoker, and I want to live a little bit longer, so absolutely. Luckily for him, he actually has ultra potential. Don't ask me what the fuck that means, which was unlocked by said hypnotherapy session.
Now relax as I reach deep inside you and grab hold of your essence.
I need an adult.
I am an adult!
Which essentially turned him into Martian Manhunter. He's super strong and vulnerable to damage, can pass through solid matter, is able to see through walls, and that's just the start. And his only weakness is fire. However, like most of us, upon being granted superpowers, he just goes, what now? Creates a super suit for himself and decides, you know what? Fuck this. I'm not going to be a mild-mannered plumber anymore. I'm gonna be a super villain. That's right. First thing he does is try out for a group of supervillains who are going to fight the Fantastic Four. However, he then switches sides when he realizes that he's going to be teamed up against the Human Torch, when his only weakness is fire. Needless to say, he turncoated and went to the superhero side and tried to join the Defenders, failing in doing so. And if you're wondering if everyone thinks that costume is fucking ridiculous, yeah, they do. Everyone makes fun of him for it, and the reason that he's called Captain Colorblind on the fucking intro page here is not because he's actually colorblind. It is 100% because he just really fucking loves colors, and he designed that costume intentionally, somehow. This dude was so bad at being a superhero, he ended up becoming a super comedian. That's correct. He is currently a comedian. He has defended the world against Elker, the demon without humor, with his ultra potential unlocking an ultra joke that made everyone laugh so hard that he won the fight. I feel like I don't even need to label this guy as regrettable. I feel like time has done that for me. Is it fun having a character that was so shitty that even in his own universe, even when he was created by such a star-studded cast, he has been relegated to super comedian? Yeah, that's really fun to have. Would I miss him if he didn't exist? No, I learned about him today. So with that in mind, I regret to inform you, Captain Ultra, that you are extremely regrettable. What is this outfit, my man? Oh, you have no idea the box you just opened. So if I posted this correctly, this video should be part of a playlist that shows all of the videos in which I have talked about Lobo. Including one where I made a skit with the voice actor of Lobo from Young Justice. Not bragging, just pointing it out because holy fucking shit. And in those videos, a couple of times I explain who Lobo is, but it's been a while. Like 5 years ago a while. Like, still filming in a bathroom mirror with an Android phone in my pajamas a while. I mean, I'm not better. I'm still in my pajamas now, but like, still. So let's do a little bit of an update. Who's Lobo? Lobo, otherwise known as the last Zarnian, otherwise known as the main man, put some respect on his fucking name, is the last of a race of aliens known as the Zarnians. The idea behind his creation was essentially to be a somewhat parody character of the sort of grimdark characters of the 90s. Think your Wolverines, think your Punishers, think your Ghost Riders, you're sort of so fucking cool and badass, all they wear is black leather and ride Harleys and You know the type. Lobo was created as an exaggeration and parody of those style of characters. He is a bounty hunter in space who rides essentially a space Harley and dresses like a biker straight out of the 90s, complete with full black leather and a cut-off vest. Other than that one time that he wore an orange and purple jumpsuit. And that other time that they tried to make him Han Solo. But we don't talk about that other time, under threat of death! If that was the only explanation, I can understand why he would be a pretty boring character. He's essentially just a space mercenary, so what? Well, it's because this man is fucking ridiculous. Remember how I mentioned that he's the last Zarnian? Well, that is because he killed all of the other Zarnians for shits and giggles. When he was in 4th grade, he created a science project that was essentially flying hyper-poisonous scorpions. And they wiped out every other member of his race, which, by the way, was a race of pure pacifists. He killed his mother, his doctor, his father, and the entire hospital on the day of his birth. When I said that he was kind of a parody and an exaggeration of that most dangerous man on the planet type of character, I meant that shit. He is the most dangerous person in the galaxy. He is so terrifying that he is banned from entering heaven and has been kicked out of hell. No, that is not hyperbole. One of his superpowers is that he can track anyone from anywhere in the universe based solely on scent. And one of his binding oaths is that if he gives his word that someone will die by his hand, they will. He does not leave contracts uncompleted. He will finish the contract, no matter the circumstance. That is, unless you ask him to kill space dolphins, which he is a very staunch advocate for. He loves space dolphins. Again, not an exaggeration of any kind. He has a virtually unmatched healing factor, meaning he can essentially regrow from anything. Strong enough to be able to get into a fist fight with Superman and not immediately be beaten. He was given a Red Lantern ring, but didn't want the fucking cheat that it was, so he just put it on a necklace and wears it around. This man is ridiculous. But he is so ridiculous that it makes him fucking terrifying when he shows up in a book. Imagine if you're a bounty hunter and you're contracted to go kill Bugs Bunny. You'd be terrified by the fact that they don't adhere to logic, right? You'd be terrified by the fact that no matter what you do to this thing, it absolutely will beat you, right? That is the insanity that is fighting Lobo. That is the ridiculousness that is this man. And it's part of the reason I fucking love him so much. Spoilers for his first miniseries ever, but he is contracted to go and capture some random lady and bring her halfway across the galaxy, who turns out to be his 4th grade science teacher. Yeah, the person that he made those fucking flying scorpions for. Now, Lobo takes it as a direct insult that there is another Zarnian alive, especially because he is the one who killed all of them. So he does his contract, like I said, it's part of his word, and he brings this lady all the way across the galaxy, encountering a whole bunch of ridiculous bullshit on the way. I'm talking space Elvis impersonators and a fucking spelling bee that if you lose, you die. Like that level of ridiculousness. And once he brings this lady in front of the person who contracted him to bring her across the galaxy, he goes, great, I brought her, give me my money. Guy goes, there you go, you've been paid, now give me the lady. And he goes, great, and snaps her fucking neck. Because he did what he fucking said he was gonna do. He brought her across the galaxy, but he's not gonna let another Zarnian be alive. I just love him so much. Anyway, yeah, that's why you should be hyped about Lobo showing up. And that's also why you should be hyped about Jason Momoa playing him. Because he's the exact type of person that would be able to pull this shit off. God, I can't wait! I'm sure everyone can relate this week. I have more like dramatic videos where I talk about it, but that's not today. Today's Monday. I'm just trying to get through the fucking week, man. Just to cover my bases beforehand. That everywhere. Everywhere content is created, that's where you find it. Alright? I actually just applied for a silver play button, so I'm actually established on one of them motherfuckers. Scarlett and I have some plans on the purple one. I don't know why I'm even censoring myself anymore, but who gives a shit? So yeah. I'm gonna persist. I'm gonna persevere. Come find me on those platforms. I'm gonna try and keep doing my thing. Anyway, welcome back to Regrettable Superhero of the Week, the weekly non-weekly show where I take one character at random out of the league of regrettable superheroes and then I run them the fuck down. Weird side note, my last episode is actually the reason I removed TikTok Shop from my profile, because apparently I'm not allowed to do a wheel if I'm connected to TikTok Shop because it promotes gambling. So let's do some gambling, ladies and gents. Just somebody nice. We've all had a rough fucking week, man. Just someone not... Are you... Oh, goddamn it. This fucking wheel's gonna give me an aneurysm, man. So before you ask, no, we are not talking about that travesty. We're talking about this travesty. Let me introduce you to the Legion of Super Pets. Unlike the one that got a movie, the Legion of Super Pets are not actually a league such as the Justice League. They're all Superman and Supergirl things. Instead of being the pets of like the entire Justice League or the entire Legion of Superheroes, they are literally just the pets of Superboy and Supergirl. This is usually the part where I say who they were created by, but they were created by a lot of fucking people, so I'm just gonna show you everybody as credit here. And the Super Pets themselves debuted in Adventure Comics number 293 of DC Comics in February of 1962. The Super Pets are kind of a hodgepodge, so I'm gonna tell you each of the members and then kind of explain their deal. The group is made up of Crypto the Super Dog, Beppo the Super Monkey, Streaky the Super Cat, and Comet the Super Horse. Crypto and Beppo were both actually Kryptonian animals that were launched off in rockets before Superman to kind of test the viability of that option of escape from Krypton. Streaky is just Supergirl's pet cat, just a normal fucking Earth feline. Streaky the Super Cat only gets its superpowers when exposed to X-Kryptonite, which is just a different kind of kryptonite. However, it only gives them powers for a certain amount of time, but that doesn't seem to bother Streaky because they just encounter X-Kryptonite so fucking frequently that whenever they're needed to have superpowers, they basically got it. Makes you wonder why they don't just make those powers permanent, but yo, whatever. And that brings us to the most crazy of the Legion of Super Pets, or at least their original roster, which is Comet the Super Horse, who's somewhat infamous. You see, Comet is actually a regular fucking dude. He's just a dude from ancient Greece who unfortunately had a run-in with the sorcerer Circe. Ain't that time inconvenient considering Circe was like one of the main bad guys of Creature Commandos. Anyway, in that encounter, Circe turned him into a centaur, so half man, half horse. And then when he tried to reverse this process, he kind of fucked up, and instead of turning into a full dude again, he turned into a full immortal horse. Now, Byron, which by the way, is Comet's real human name, gets transformed back into a human being one time when this mystical comet flies past the Earth. While that comet is flying past, he's a regular dude, and in fact, him and Supergirl fall in love! And once that comet passes, he turns back into an immortal horse, and Supergirl is none the wiser that her pet horse is actually the man she fell in love with. What the fuck was going on in the 60s? So here's the thing. I can't really say the Legion of Super Pets as a concept is a bad idea. They've spawned many different iterations. There's been animated shows, there's been movies, obviously, as bad as they were. Multiple iterations in the comics that do take that more just like the Justice League but pets thing. But I have to say, this version, with Tweaker the Super Cat and the Furry, I don't think I can sign off on this one. I hate to say it, but for the Legion of Super Pets, y'all get the seal of regret. This is a fully conscious man stuck as a horse for all of time. I just want you to remember that as you look at these strangely human eyes. And that cat needs to go to rehab right now. Hey man, I just wanted to check up on you. You doing okay? You know what this is? No, I can't say I do. It looks like a, I don't know, dollar store Clayface figure? That's exactly what it is. Why do you think I own it? I don't know, man. Maybe it reminds you of earlier times. Does it have something to do with anything? About a year into me doing this, I got a P.O. box. In that P.O. box, I used to get a whole bunch of stuff from fans who used to just send stuff to me. I don't anymore, just the consequence of time and all, but early on into it, I got this letter, a small package in it. In that package was those two figures. It's a Clayface and a Batman, some super cheap stuff that you can pick up at a dollar store. Now I was confused by it until I read the letter. The letter is just this guy who reached out to me, who told me that he was gonna do it that night. He had a plan, he had it all figured out, and he turned on TikTok just to pass the time, and one of my videos came up, and it made him laugh for the first time in a very long time, and he decided not to do it. And to show his appreciation, he just wanted to send me whatever he could, even though he didn't really have anything that I would want. So he just sent me these two little dollar store toys. And they've been one of my most prized possessions since then. Do you know how he's doing? No, I've always been bad at answering DMs or answering messages or checking Discord or whatever. My point is that these are so prized to me because they show that even though all I do is talk about comics, I've had such a positive impact on some people's lives. I've had an impact that helped people. I had an impact that changed people. And with all this going on, does it feel like that's being taken away? Yes? No, I don't. I've established other platforms for years now. I have a silver play button that is coming in the fucking mail. This isn't the end for the things that I do, but it feels like the thing that started my life, that changed my life, is being ripped away. And it's something that I just wasn't ready for. You've done a lot of preparation for someone who's not ready for this. It doesn't matter what preparation I've done, okay? This has changed my life. This, not those other things, not the things that I've set up, not the plans that I've made. This has changed my life in so many ways. This was the only way I was able to afford to not live at home after I got out of college. This was the only way that I've been able to sustain myself for 5 fucking years. This was the only option that I had. Doesn't really sound like you want to do it, though. Of course I want to do it. This is my favorite thing. This is the thing I've been fixated on my entire fucking life. Of course I want to do it. I wasn't ready to have this part of it taken away. I'm just saying, if you don't want to do it, this would be the perfect time to stop. Doing this is the only way I've been able to survive for 5 years. Okay? Doing this is the only way that my fiance even ended up meeting me. She changed her minimum age on Tinder when she realized that someone like me, people like me online, were younger than she thought. That's the only way I was able to even meet these people. The only way that my life has been able to change the way it has is because of this platform. And it doesn't matter if I have different ones. This is the one that changed it. Why is that so hard to understand? Are you doing it because you want to, or are you doing it because you feel like you have to? Does that even matter? Honestly, does that even fucking matter anymore? Of course it matters. If you don't want to do it anymore, then you can just stop. No one would blame you. But I do want to do it! That's the thing! Why is that so hard to get? I do want to do it! I've been here for 5 years! Of course there's been times where I've questioned it. Of course there's been times where I've been tired, or stressed, or worried to an extent that I don't want to keep going, but I want to. I have changed lives. People's lives are better because I have done this. And even if it's in a small sense, I don't want to change that. I want to keep helping. I want to keep doing this. I want to make these things. And I think that they will help people. And I think that people want to see it. It's just that I'm... You're just what? I'm scared. Okay, I'm scared. I'm scared of letting people down. I'm scared of disappearing and changing my life and things not being what I would hoped they would be. I'm scared of giving up this life-changing thing, this gift I've been given. I'm scared of changing it. I'm scared of it having to be different and having it be forced to be different out of my control. I'm scared and I'm worried and I just want things to be okay because I want to keep going.
I want to keep doing these things. But this shit is terrifying. This is my career. This is my life. This is the thing that has changed mine and so many people's lives. And I'm scared it's not gonna work if it's not here.
There's only one way to know it won't. Right? Sometimes you just gotta hope. Sometimes you hope that it's just gonna work out regardless of what happens. Because at the end of the day, you were here. We were here. They were here. You know for a fact that regardless of where that person is now, even if it was just for a day, you helped that person. And that is not an isolated incident. Regardless of where life goes from here, regardless of the places that we go from here, this existed. This was real. And even if it's not going to be the same, even if it doesn't continue on the exact same way, even if it's not as successful as it was, even if it slowly trickles out, you did this. And you changed people, and you changed lives. Sometimes, if you want to keep doing that, all that's left to do is try. Yeah. I guess you're right. I'd say I need to stop talking to myself, but then I wouldn't have a job, would I? What's left to do is try. Let's get this shit. Oh, shit. I didn't know you guys are still gonna be here. You know, since we're losing TikTok anyway, I thought I should tell you guys. The guy's real name was actually... You know, eventually, if I just keep scrolling, YouTube will stop just giving me fucking movie clips. Yo! TikTok's not gone. I'm sorry, what? TikTok only got banned for like, I don't know, 12 hours. You're good. But I did a whole thing. Uh-huh. I posted like a wrap of my statistics on Blue Sky. I said goodbye. Yeah, well, now it's not gone, so. Don't just drop that and leave! You know, honestly, that is probably the best comparison I have ever fucking seen. Welcome back to TikTok. The American side of this died violently last night, was only dead for about 12 hours, and then we came back. And everything looks similar, but I can feel on the wind that things are about to get really bad. If you listen really closely, you can hear the ghosts of crossovers that nobody fucking asks for on the wind. Can't wait for the next couple of months to reveal that we're suddenly gonna start removing all of the women and people of color. The parallels are gonna start paralleling like fucking crazy. I am now going to co-opt this. We are in the new 52 era of TikTok. settle in for the fucking ride. This never goes well. That is going to be it for this month. I just want to say thank you to all of my lovely, lovely patient patrons over on Patreon. Amanda Barnstead, Andrew Lanowitz, Anthea Yu, Bill Bro, Brandon Bilbrey, Carol Cowett, Christopher Bosgard, Cypher Dark, Definitely Not 5 Gene Stealers in a Trench Coat, Dee Dee, Dominic Vaculo, Dragonfang, Gamer X, Jacob Safel, Jake Williamson, Jeffrey Aviles, Jojo the Frog, Cat Q, Kate Inator, Kyle Rayner, Maria Clara Barbosa, Merc, Midnight Ace Evergreen, Mr. Nobody 13, Nimbus McCloud, Knox, Oplin, Righteous Duke, Ryan, Shadow Spike, Simply Smithy Jr., Silver Bullets 23, Tangled Web, and The Brain Teaser, as well as all of my other lovely, lovely patrons over on Patreon. And if you too want your name read out in the credits of every one of the videos that I do over here on YouTube, then head on over to Patreon and subscribe for $15 or more. Or, if you just want to be generous, even $1 helps. So, that was fucking weird, right? I don't really know how to really deal with the fact that TikTok was gone for like a couple hours just to be brought back. Just so everybody is fully aware, I am still planning to fully transition over to YouTube instead of being on TikTok full time. I'm just going to be using TikTok as kind of another platform that I get to post on when I want to, kind of like I do with Instagram and Blue Sky and all my other stuff. To follow all of my links, it's in my link in bio. But yeah, that was weird. That was weird, and I'm not really sure how I feel about it, but I do kind of want to move forward with everything I was already planning to do. I have a shit ton of plans. Me and Scarlett have been working on a bunch of stuff for you guys, a bunch of real heavy back-end stuff, so I'm really excited to roll that out. I'm really excited for you guys to see. And honestly, thank you guys for watching, and I will see y'all next time.